according to the thing, people are not subscribed. Please subscribe.
Today, let's dive into the story of the United Nations. Have you ever wondered why it was created, who came up with the idea, and what it actually does? Well, let's break it down. First off, the United Nations, or the UN, was established right after World War II in 1945. The idea was to create a platform where countries could come together to talk things out instead of going to war. The founding fathers of the UN include leaders from the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and China. They were keen on preventing another devastating conflict, like the ones they had just experienced. Now, why was the UN created? The main goal was to maintain international peace and security. The founders wanted a place where countries could resolve their disputes diplomatically. Beyond preventing wars, they also wanted to promote social and economic development, uphold human rights, and provide humanitarian aid where it's needed most. So, what does the UN actually do? It's a big organization with many parts, but let's focus on a few key areas. First up, peacekeeping. The UN sends peacekeepers to conflict zones around the world to help maintain or restore peace. They're not there to fight, but to create conditions for lasting peace. Next, the UN is huge on human rights. Through the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they set out fundamental human rights that should be protected worldwide. They work tirelessly to ensure that these rights are respected and upheld. Then there's development. The UN has set ambitious goals like eradicating poverty, fighting climate change, and ensuring quality education for all. These are known as the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. They're a blueprint for a better and more sustainable future. Last but not least, humanitarian aid. When disasters strike, the UN steps in to provide emergency relief. Whether it's food, shelter, or medical care, they're often the first responders in times of crisis. So there you have it. The United Nations was created to foster peace, promote human rights, encourage development, and provide aid in emergencies. It's a complex and sometimes controversial organization, but its mission remains crucial to our world today.
World War II left a trail of devastation. Millions lay dead, cities were in ruins, the world craved peace. They wanted to prevent another such catastrophe. Leaders knew a new system was needed, one that promoted cooperation and understanding. This desire for a better future led to the birth of the United Nations.
The San Francisco Conference was a remarkable event. Delegates from across the globe came together. They represented a diversity of cultures, languages, and ideologies. Their shared goal to build a lasting peace. The conference lasted for 2 months. There were intense negotiations. The delegates debated the structure and powers of the new organization. They drew upon the lessons of the past. The failures of the League of Nations, the predecessor to the UN, weighed heavily on their minds. 4 countries played a pivotal role: the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and China. These big 4 helped shape the UN Charter. This charter serves as the founding document of the United Nations. On June 26, 1945, the UN Charter was signed. This marked the official birth of the United Nations. The world had embarked on a new chapter.
The UN Charter is a remarkable document. It outlines the organization's purposes and principles. It serves as a guide for international cooperation. Its preamble begins with the powerful words, "We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined." The Charter identifies 4 main goals: to maintain international peace and security, which means preventing war and resolving conflicts peacefully; to develop friendly relations among nations, emphasizing the importance of dialogue and understanding; to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian issues; and to promote respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, recognizing the inherent dignity and equality of all human beings. The Charter established a framework for global governance. It created various organs to carry out the UN's work. The most well-known are the General Assembly, the Security Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. The Security Council has a crucial responsibility. It is tasked with maintaining international peace and security. It has 15 members, including 5 permanent members with veto power: China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The Security Council can authorize a range of actions. These include peacekeeping missions, sanctions, and even the use of force as a last resort. UN peacekeeping is one of the organization's most visible and important activities. Peacekeepers are deployed to conflict zones around the world. They monitor ceasefires, protect civilians, and help create conditions for lasting peace. The UN has conducted over 70 peacekeeping operations. It has played a vital role in preventing and resolving conflicts. Section 5. Champions of Human Dignity, Upholding Human Rights. The UN has been a leading voice for human rights. It recognizes that peace and security are inextricably linked to human dignity and equality. One of the UN's greatest achievements was the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. This landmark document proclaims the inalienable rights of all human beings. These rights include the right to life, liberty, and security of person, freedom from torture and slavery, freedom of thought, expression, and religion, and the right to education and work. The UN has established various mechanisms to promote and protect human rights. These include human rights treaties, special rapporteurs, and the Human Rights Council. The UN works tirelessly to address human rights violations. It strives to create a world where everyone can live in dignity and freedom.
Section 6. Development and Progress, a global partnership. The UN plays a critical role in promoting global development. It recognizes that peace and security are closely linked to economic and social progress. In 2015, UN member states adopted the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These goals provide a roadmap for a more just, equitable, and sustainable future. They address a wide range of issues, including poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, climate change, and peace. The UN provides development assistance to countries around the world. It supports programs in areas such as healthcare, education, agriculture, and infrastructure. The UN also plays a key role in coordinating international efforts to address global challenges such as climate change.
Section 7. Triumphs of the United Nations. Success stories in action. The UN has a mixed record of successes and failures. However, it has achieved some notable successes in its history. For example, the UN has played a key role in eradicating smallpox. Through the World Health Organization, the UN led a global vaccination campaign that eradicated smallpox in 1980. This was a major public health victory. The UN also provides humanitarian assistance to millions of people affected by disasters and conflicts each year through agencies like the UN Refugee Agency and the World Food Programme. Moreover, the UN played a significant role in the decolonization movement, supporting the independence of many former colonies. Additionally, the UN has supported democratic transitions in many countries, providing election monitoring and assistance with constitution building. These are just a few examples of the UN's positive impact on the world. Section 8. Navigating challenges. The complexities of a changing world. The UN faces numerous challenges. The world has changed dramatically since 1945. New threats have emerged, such as terrorism, climate change, and cyber warfare. The UN has struggled to adapt to these new challenges. Other challenges include the veto power of the permanent members of the Security Council. This can paralyze the Council and prevent it from taking action in crises. Additionally, the lack of adequate funding is a significant issue. The UN relies on voluntary contributions from member states, which can be unreliable. There's also a need for reform. Many argue that the UN's structures and processes are outdated and in need of reform. Despite these challenges, the UN remains an indispensable organization. It provides a forum for dialogue and cooperation. It offers a beacon of hope in a world often marked by conflict and division. Section 9. The UN at a crossroads. Adapting to new realities. The UN is at a crossroads. The world faces unprecedented challenges, from climate change to pandemics to the rise of new technologies. The UN must adapt to these new realities if it is to remain relevant and effective. There are growing calls for UN reform. Many believe the organization needs to be more efficient, accountable, and representative of the current global order. Some key areas for reform include Security Council reform. This means expanding the Security Council to include more permanent and non-permanent members to reflect the changing balance of power in the world. Improving UN financing is also crucial. Ensuring more predictable and sustainable funding for UN programs and activities is essential. Additionally, strengthening UN peacekeeping by providing peacekeepers with the resources, training, and mandates they need to be effective in complex environments is necessary.
Section 10. A beacon of hope, the enduring vision of the United Nations. Despite its flaws and challenges, the UN remains an essential organization. It embodies the aspirations of people worldwide for peace, cooperation, and progress. The UN Charter's opening words, "We the peoples," remind us that the UN belongs to us all. It is up to us to ensure that it fulfills its promise of a better future. As global citizens, we have a responsibility to support the UN and its work. We can do this by staying informed, learning about the UN and the issues it addresses, supporting UN agencies by donating to or volunteering with UN organizations working on issues we care about is also important. Additionally, advocating for change by calling on our leaders to support UN initiatives and to work for a more just and peaceful world is crucial. The UN may not be perfect, but it remains our best hope for a better future. By working together, we can strengthen the UN and make its vision a reality.
Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome content. See you next time.